Hello everyone, welcome to my Hypercar Le Mans lap guide for Le Mans Ultimate. Today we're going to be driving the Ferrari 499p Hypercar. It seems like the Ferrari is the more dominant hypercar at the moment, but I'm sure at some point we'll see a balance of performance change which might bring a few of the other hypercars into play. But for now we're in the Ferrari heading down towards the first turn at Le Mans. And to start off with, we're going to stay towards the left-hand side to open up our entry line for the right, that's right here. And then as soon as the track straightens up, we're going to start braking. So as soon as we're parallel with the straight white line there, we're going to start braking in the straightest line that we can, down to second gear, bringing it towards the apex of this turn. Try keep off the cut strips, the yellow strips there, just use the inside curb. Trail brake in towards the apex, then a small little burst on the throttle between the two turns, and be very gentle on the throttle, by the way, very easy to oversteer. And then again, try avoid the anti-cut strips on the inside, use the inside curb, carry your speed through to the outside, balance your throttle and steering inputs to get a nice exit. On the exit there, don't step off all four wheels outside of the curb because you'll get an invalid lap. It's very easy to do. For the next turn, we're also looking for where the track straightens up, and we're going to get on the brakes shortly after the track is straight. So once we reach that point marked on screen, braking hard and straight line, trailing towards the inside, carrying some speed and using the downforce. Try to avoid getting up on that inside curb, it just unstabilizes the car a little bit. And then be very gentle getting off throttle there towards the left. It's very easy to snap into an oversteer. Here, just drop a wheel on that inside curb on the right, shortens your line a little bit and ensures that you don't really go out into that grass over there, because if you do, that's bad news and it's very easy to spin. So just try to keep within the track there, don't really use that curb. And then for the next turn, we're looking for that little mark on the outside curb. There's like a little dip in the curbing right there where I've marked out on the screen. We're going to just dab on the brakes a little bit after that and then carry our speed, downshift to fourth gear. And then on the inside, again, don't cut too much. You don't want to get on those anti-cut strips too much, and you don't want to invalidate your lap on both sides, both the apex and on exit. You don't want to put all four wheels outside the curb on the exit there. And now we reach Mulsanne Straight. So here, there's not much to talk about. This car, it's very snappy. The hypercars are very snappy on throttle. Just be super careful on those low speed turns. It's all about balancing your throttle and steering inputs. But anyway, we'll head towards the first chicane along the straight, and we're looking out for a yellow mark on the fence right there on the left, and we're going to be braking exactly alongside it. Hard on the brakes, and then all the way to the left, hard on the brakes, trailing in, and then we can dip our right side wheels on the inside of the curb there. You can just go up a little bit, it'll shorten your line a little bit and help open your entry line for the middle of the kink. And then here towards the left, we can also put a wheel up on top of the curb there. Just don't go too far across, because you can bottom out. The bottom of your car might scrape along the curb and that'll push you wide. So just do what I've done there, ease on the throttle there. And then again on the exit, we don't want to be all the way to the right because we can possibly get an invalid lap. And we also don't want to scrape along the curb and get all unstable. So bring the car back towards the left, use the curb if you need to, and then we are on the straight again. So for the second chicane along the Mulsanne Straight, we're looking for the 100 board on the fence. So we've got 300, 200, and here we go as our 100 board. We're going to be braking a couple car lengths before the 100 board, all the way towards the right, hard on the brakes and trailing towards the inside. And pretty much the opposite, the mirrored version of the first chicane. So we're also using the inside curb, dropping a wheel up on top there on the inside, and then on the brakes a little bit, trailing in, and then also stepping up our inside wheels to the top of the inside curb. Not too much, again, we don't want our floor to scrape along the curb and push us wide. Easing the brakes, and then same thing, use a little bit of the curb, but don't go too far towards the left because you will invalidate your lap or just get really unstable. Now we've finished off the Mulsanne Straight, going around the little bend to the right here. And for the next braking zone into the hairpin, we're going to be looking for a white line in the center of the track and the start of the inside curb, and we're going to brake between them. So we approach the braking zone now, and I'll have a little freeze frame. There we go. I've got a few braking references you can use, but I used that line in the middle of the road and the start of the inside curb, braking between them, hard on the brakes, and then trail it towards the inside. Don't touch the bollards here, but you can get really tight on the inside, and make sure you enter the turn slowly, and then ease on the throttle on exit. It's slow in, fast out there. Don't get too far out wide on exit. You don't want to get on the sand. I've had a couple occasions there when I've touched the sand and it's spun me straight into the wall. You don't want to do that. Right, picking up speed again. It's not too much to talk about here, so I'll see you at the next turn. Actually, one thing I might mention is I'm actually shifting a couple lights short on the steering wheel there, so I don't go all the way to the end of the rev range. It just seems to be a little bit better from what I found. Okay, so for the next turn, we've got that green paint on the left side of the road. We're going to be lifting at the end of that green paint and pretty much braking straight away. And we don't want to brake too hard. We don't want to risk locking up. So as you go through the bend, just ease on the brakes, and then when you're in the straight line here, you can get a bit harder on the brakes. down to second gear all the way to the right side and then trailing into the left. We don't really want to get up on the inside curb because it just puts the car in a really awkward sort of position and it makes it unstable, and it's very easy to get loose on the exit here, so very gentle on the throttle. You can use third gear in these tighter turns if it's more comfortable to you. Back towards the left, we're braking in the middle between these two Goodyear signs on the left, and again we don't want to get too hard on the brakes because it's quite easy to lock up here, so trail brake quite quickly and then towards the inside. We don't really want to get up on the inside curb because I find it actually pushes you kind of wide, so use the lower side or the lower part of the curb or avoid the curb altogether and just slow in and fast out. By the way, it's a very easy turn to run deep into. And on exit, there's that wall that I pointed out. It's very easy to actually clip that wall if you carry too much speed out, if you accelerate too early. So just keep that all in mind when taking that turn. It's one of the more tricky turns on the track. Now up here, this is where we really get to use our downforce. So again, the green paint on the left side of the road, we're going to start braking it right at the end of it, or just before the end of this green paint, and not too hard too long. We're going to shift a couple gears down to fifth gear. I don't like getting up on that inside curb there. It actually pushes you a little bit wide, so try getting near to it, but not on it. Bring the car back towards the right side there, opening up our entry line towards the left, and we're going to be flat out through here. Just bear in mind that when you're on full fuel, you might not have as much agility as you do with low fuel, so be very careful. You may have to lift a little bit with higher fuel. Here you may want to have a lift. I go very near to flat out through here, but if you lift a little bit, it'll help you get closer, more towards the left side there, which could open up your entry line a little bit more for this right turn. There's that line across the outside the track there on the right. Use that as our braking reference. Down to fourth gear, trail the brake in, and keep towards the right because we again want to open up our entry line for the left here. Then don't brake, just lift and turn hard to the left. We want to use all the curb on the inside, but don't cut too much over towards the anti-cut strips, the yellow things, because that's bad. On the exit, we don't want to put all four wheels outside of the curb because that'll mean invalid lap. And then after this, we're flat out once again, and we've only got a couple more bends to go. So the last couple chicanes, we're looking for the pit entry on the right there, and we're going to be braking 2 to 3 car lengths before that curb starts that's pointed out on screen. Quite hard on the brakes, and then here it's all about bravery really. You can carry quite a lot of speed in, but I'd say ease into it. So this first curb you can cut quite a lot over, and the second one you don't really want to cut too much of. You can use all that inside curb, but don't go much beyond that because it pushes the car, bounces the car to the left. Now keep slowing the car down, bring it back towards the right where I've marked it on screen. Use that curb as your braking reference and really slow it down here. You want to use all that, well not all of it, you want to use about half of those anti-cut strips because you go beyond that and you invalidate your lap. You don't want to do that on the last turn. Open up your entry line a little bit more than I did here and avoid that sausage curb on the very last apex. You hit that sausage curb and it bounces you towards the left. I actually clipped it a little bit there. It kind of hurt my exit. Just don't get on that sand on the exit, as most cases the sand's going to slow you down. Use all the exit though and then dash towards the line, and that was actually quite a nice lap on the default setup. If you use a modified setup, there's a lot more potential to get a good lap time out of this car and track combination, but for now we're just running on mostly default setups. I'll let you watch the whole lap through again without the interruptions, and then after that we'll take a look at the pit entry guide if you want to have a look at that. So enjoy the lap and I'll see you after it. to take a look at the pit entry for Le Mans. So the pit entry for Le Mans is quite tight. You have to get through a tight little chicane before you actually get to the pit lane, and we're going to take a look at that now. So towards the right, we'll look at the pit entry open up right here. And then there's a few braking references I've got on screen there. Just make sure you brake a few car lengths before that curb starts on the left, hard on the brakes and then trailing it down to first gear. Now this is tricky. You have to stay within the white lines because I've found if you use too much of the curb, it actually gives you a cut warning. So make sure you stay fully within the white lines there. Here you want to brake about 2 car lengths before the L on the Le Mans sign on the left there, and then brake, downshift first and pit limiter, and you should be 60 at the line. So yeah, as it is right now, it's very tight. You have to stay within those white lines fully or you get a cut warning. Anyway, I hope this has helped you all out driving the Hypercar at Le Mans. Keep an eye out for future guides because I'm still working on them. I'm currently prioritizing the daily races, so when they change again, I'll probably work on those ones. But anyway, thank you all for watching and catch you soon.